guys, welcome back. It's Meridy here, and I'm here with our February 2022 True Love Kit, which is a Valentine's theme kit. And before I show you how to put this kit together, I'm going to show you what you get in your kit. So you are going to get a P13 alphabet and some Fancy Pants ephemera, my type ephemera, and a Rosie Studio mini die of the little mini, they look like candy hearts. They say true love, forever, love you, XOXO, love, and cute. And I love these little things. And then you're gonna get a choice of stamps, which you picked from a drop-down menu when you purchased your kit. You're either going to get this Cartabella Spring Market stamp set or the Bow Bunny Just My Type stamp set. And there's one more option, which I don't have here with me right now. It's a Rosie Studio stamp set, but it's very similar in style to these with some words and some shapes. So it's whatever stamp set you chose when you checked out. The papers that come in this kit is the Fancy Pants My Type Love Blooms paper, and that's what the front looks like, and the back is striped. And this Echo Park I Love Winter Warm Wishes paper, and it's snowflakes on one side and stripes on the other. And again, Fancy Pants My Type, this one is called Love Buds with wood grain on the back. And a Basil cardstock in maraschino red, and an American Crafts cardstock in this light blue color. I forget the exact name of the color right now. I think it's Blue Lagoon, maybe. And 2 sheets of smooth white cardstock, and those are going to be the base of your layout. So these are all the things that you're going to get in your kit, and the first thing that you're going to want to do, you're also going to have a sheet of instructions in your kit. It's front and back instructions, and you are going to want to cut your papers to the guidelines that are outlined on those instructions. That's the first thing you're going to do. So I'm going to do this off camera, and I will be right back. I forgot to add, some of you may not even have a stamp set at all. There was one option of purchasing the kit with no stamp set included for those of you who may already have the stamp sets or who don't like to stamp. So there was that option too. Forgot about that when I was going over the kit contents. So to the cutting, back to putting the layout together, we're going to work on the left-hand side first. So you're going to start with a white 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and you're going to grab the following pieces. You're going to need this one and one of these strips, and this red maraschino paper is just used to mat photos. So as you may know from previous videos, instead of using photos in my videos, I use white cardstock just to hold the place of the photo. So I am going to mat my photos on this red maraschino cardstock. And actually, I'm just gonna go ahead while I'm doing it right now, and I'm gonna mat the photos for the second side of the layout as well. Now, one thing that I wanna tell you about these photos, I used 4x6 photos, but I trimmed them down just ever so slightly to just about 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. I just trimmed a little bit off of each photo so that I could take full advantage of this piece of cardstock for matting and fit 2 4x6 photos across and have room to mat them. So these photos are just a little shy of 4 inches by 6 inches, so that the actual photo mats out of the red can be exactly 4 inches by 6 inches. I hope that makes sense. And then these two, they're 4 inches still wide, but they're like 3 3/4 inches tall. I just trimmed a little bit off of the top and bottom, so that way they can all fit nicely on this paper. And you can mat up to 6 4x6 pictures on this maraschino cardstock if you trim them down just ever so slightly. So I'm going to cut these out, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back, and I've matted all the pictures, and I'm going to put 3 off to the side because they're going to be for the second half of the layout, and we're just going to use 2 on this side. So I've generally got my papers laid out so far. There's a couple more papers that go on this side of the layout. Let's find them in here. There's 2 pieces of this cut like this. We're going to use the slightly longer one. See, it's a little bit longer on this side. This top one is a little bit longer. We're going to use the longer one on this side of the layout. Okay, and then there are 2 pieces of this blue. One of them is a 1/2 inch shorter than the other. Again, we're going to use the longer one on this side of the layout, not the shorter one. I'm going to save the shorter one for the other page. Okay, so now that you've got this approximately laid out, the next step that I took on mine is I punched a scallop punch across the bottom. If you don't have a scallop punch, you could maybe use decorative edge scissors. If you don't want to or don't have a scallop punch or decorative edge scissors, you could tear it across the bottom. Paper tearing is popular right now and it looks very nice, I think. So you could tear across the bottom and give it a distressed edge. Or if you didn't want to do anything, you could absolutely just leave it straight without messing with it or doing anything. So there's all kinds of options on this layout. But I used a scallop punch. This is the scallop punch I used. It's EK Success, and I don't know what it's called, but it's just a giant scallop punch. And it puts a little embossed edge, but you can't really see it very good on pattern paper, and I don't really care for the little embossed part, so I'm kind of glad that I can't see it very good. Okay, the next step is we've got this all on here approximately where we like it, and we're going to do some stamping on this layout. But in order to stamp, we're going to need to mark where our pictures are, because we're going to pull the pictures off, or pull all these papers and photos off the page so that we're not stamping over them. So I'm going to get a pencil and I'm going to mark the corners here. And I want to get this laid out very close to what I think it's going to be at the end. Okay. And I'm just ever so lightly marking the corners. So I mean, I could draw this line all the way across, but I don't want to have to erase a ton. So I'm just doing the corners. And then we can move all of these papers off to the side. And we'll move this one too. And now we can start the stamping. So in my layout that is showing on the website and the pictures at the end of this video, in one of the layouts I'm using this Cartabella stamp set with all the typewriter font phrases and the little arrows. So I'm using this stamp set, but since I already used this for one example, I'm going to use this stamp set on this layout for the video. But it's the same technique that you would use with the stamp set or the other Rosie Studio stamp set or this stamp set. So I'm just going to put that back off to the side and I'm going to pull out what I need. So I wanted to have different shades of many of colors, but I didn't want to have to pull out 9 or 10 different stamp sets. So I only pulled 3 stamp sets that I'm using: Tumbled Glass, Hickory Smoke, and Barn Door, because those coordinate with my layout. But basically it's a red, a light blue, and a gray. But you could use any of the colors that are in this layout. You don't have to use those 3 colors. But I pulled those 3 out, and I'll show you the technique I'm going to use so I didn't have to pull out 9 or 10 different colors. So let me get that going. I'm going to use a scratch sheet of paper first to show you exactly what I mean, because you might want to test it on a scratch sheet of paper as well before you start stamping directly on your page. So I'm going to grab the Just My Type. And what I did is I basically did 3 generations of stamping so that there's a dark, a medium, and a light of the same color, and the light of the red like almost looks pink. You'll see what I mean. Dark, medium, light. That way I can have a variety of color on my layout without pulling out a whole bunch of different ink pads. And then I'm gonna do I Love You. And I'll stamp that with the blue to show you. This is the tumbled glass. And again, I'm gonna do a dark, a medium, and a light. You can hardly read the light of the light blue, so I might only do 2 generations of that color. And then I will do Hello. Dark, medium, light. Again, you can hardly read the light, so maybe I might just stick to the dark and the medium on this one. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so now that I know what colors, and I've grabbed 3 different sentiments, you can use more sentiments. There's Just Wanted to Say, so you could say Just Wanted to Say I Love You, Just Wanted to Say Hello, Just Wanted to Say Miss You. This one says Just a Note, I Miss Your Smile, PS, so you could say PS, I Love You. And then there's also hearts that we will use in a minute too. But for now, I'm going to start with the words. So see where all of my little lines are, where I've got pictures. I want to stamp some of the images so that they will be covered up by the photos. Like underlapping under the photos. Let's see, I'll put those there so you can see what color. So, but some of the images I do want to be readable when the pictures are there. So I'm gonna stamp it in gray, and then in light blue, and then in red, and I do 3 of each word. Now to make this go a little easier while I have everything out, I'm actually going to grab the other sheet of paper that goes on the other side. And I know that all of these stamps are going to be at the bottom, so I'm just going to stamp at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'll start with gray. And this has a smaller area, so I'm only going to do 2 of some of these sentiments because I will run out of space, because it's just a little area at the bottom of this page. And it's okay to overlap them. It's okay to overlap them. They overlap a little. It's fine. Okay, and then I will, so that was the hello, and I'm just gonna leave the stamps out so I can use them again if I need to. And then this one says Just My Type. And I'm going to speed this up so it's not so tedious to watch. And then I'm going to pull out the little hearts and add some hearts in here, the same exact way. And now I'm going to grab my original piece and continue. Alrighty, now that we're done with the stamping, I'm still gonna keep the stamps fairly close by just in case when I get everything else laid out, it seems like there's a blank spot or something. But this should be pretty good. And now we can pull the papers back over here and start adhering down. So I want to try to get them lined up again, how I had them. And now I can erase these marks if I feel like they're going to show. But I am going to start adhering. Right up there. And I love these stamp sets. I think they're so super cute. And then this piece, I can see exactly where I want it to go because I kind of drew the little lines. I'm just gonna cover them up instead of erasing. And then once you've got your photos down in place and all of the paper in place, then we can start setting up the various ephemera that comes in the kit. Oh, hold on, where is this happening? Okay, right here. There we go. So let me pull all those goodies out. So you can see what to add here. Now there's tons of ephemera and I of course did not use all of it. So you can use whichever pieces work well with your photos. Of course you don't have to use the same exact ones that I chose. This picture was of my little boy, so the story of us and happily ever after isn't fitting quite, you know, with these pictures. But if it was a picture of me and my husband, I definitely could have used some of those things. So let's see what other pieces here. I've got this little pencil. The thing that was so funny when I was doing this is I didn't even plan it. The picture that I'm using in my original layout, my son is wearing goofy glasses. It's a Valentine's photo shoot and he's got red Valentine's glasses on. So it fit perfectly with this. And if you don't want to use flowers because you want your layout to look more masculine, then I would omit the flowers. I think I've got everything on here that I have in my other layout. Yeah. Okay. So we can start adhering these things down. I'm going to put these off to the side for the second half. And I did pop some up on dimensional adhesive as I normally do in a lot of my layouts. If you've ever purchased a page kit before, you'll see that. But you don't have to. If you don't like your pages to have a lot of dimension, then just adhere everything flat down. But I will tell you what I did put up on Pop Dots. I put this heart that says you for love you. I put this little bird. I put this little postage stamp and the typewriter. And then down here, I just put the postage stamp. Everything else is flat to the page. So I will do that, and I'm gonna speed this up so you don't have to watch me putting everything down. But those are the things that are popped up. Alrighty, the last thing that you're going to do for this layout is you're going to grab a little scrap that you have left over of your red paper and a little scrap of your blue paper, and you are going to flip them to the smooth side. So the smooth side is facing up. And you're going to grab these Rosie Studio mini dies, and you're going to cut a set of 6 dies out of each of these 2 papers. So I'm going to go do that off camera, and I will be right back. Now I will tell you, sometimes these little hearts get stuck in the die and there's not a hole to punch it through from the back. So I just used my little tweezers to pop them right out. And it pops out pretty easy with the tweezers. So you might need to do that to get them out. So I feel like these are super cute, but you cannot really read the embossed words on them when they pop out as they are with this paper. So what I'm going to do is grab my gray ink that I used on my layout, which is the Hickory Smoke ink. And honestly, I could sit here and use the sponge dauber and a piece of paper and try to do this, but I really don't care when I get messy. So I just used my finger and kind of barely rubbed ink over the top. And now you can see much better that that says cute. So I did that to all 6. This Distress Oxide ink even shows up on the red because it shows up on dark colors because it's opaque. But if you did not, you could use a darker, if you do not have Distress Oxide ink, you could probably use a darker shade of red or black that on the red one, and it will show up just fine. And for the blue, you could use any shade of blue that's darker than this paper. But like I said, I'm using my finger because to me this is way easier than trying to hold this in place and use a sponge dauber. But of course a sponge dauber would work too. Guys, I love these little candy heart things. I just think they're so stinking cute, and that's how they look when they're all colored, so you can read them a lot easier. So we can put those, we'll distribute those out on the page. I think I put 6 on this page and 4 on the other page maybe. I put a couple down there overlapping. And then I put a light blue one up here. And then I put a couple up here, overlapping. And then I put a red one down here. And I'm going to adhere these off camera, but I just used my, oh, the rest of these we use on the other side. I just used my regular ATG adhesive to put these down. So this is about it for this layout. And then I will be right back to start the other side. We already have our base stamping done. So all we're going to do is add the pieces. And again, we're going to use one of the thin strips of this one and the thicker strip of this one. And then our 3 photos. And then this is the shorter of these 2 pieces. Guess I need to move this up a little. That's the shorter. And then this is the shorter of the 2 blue pieces. And then this little blue one over here. So this is going to be how this page lays out, and I'm going to use my Scallop Punch to punch across the top, but again, you don't have to. You could use, you could tear it or use any shape punch or use decorative edge scissors to do that. Oh. And I'm actually going to start adhering because I've got it laid out and I know my stamping's already done. So I'm gonna start adhering. I made a little mistake here with the punch. Gotta trim this little thing off. And this side should come together fairly quickly because we already did all the stamping and die cutting of the little hearts. So it's just a matter of adhering everything into place. And I start with the bottom layer, which is right here. And then once we get all the photos and paper adhered down, we're going to grab the ephemera pack again and start laying that out. And again, you can pick whatever pieces match your photos. You don't have to use the same ephemera pieces that I used, but I will show you what I used. First, I'm gonna set these little hearts there because I know we used those. And then I'll go through here again and try to find the ones that I use. And then there's so many of these, so you'll have a lot left over to use on other layouts too. That's the good thing that I always try to do whenever I design these kits and design the layout, is make sure that there's plenty of pieces to have leftovers so you can make another layout. And I think that's about it. Okay. So I'm going to get these adhered down. And oh, and the hearts, I almost forgot about the hearts. I put a little blue one up at the top and a little red one down here and a blue and a red one overlapping down here. Now I did pop some of these items up on adhesive as well. I will go through real quick right now and tell you which ones I put on adhesive. So oh, I have two little hearts left over that I didn't use, one blue and one red. So I popped the typewriter and this bird up on adhesive and this stamp, and everything else is flat to the page. So I'm gonna go adhere that and I will be right back to show you how to add the title with your alphabets right there. Now that all of this ephemera is glued down, oh, I didn't glue down my ampersand. So on my original layout with my pictures, I put my ampersand here, and then it was my kids in my pictures, so I put their name. It says Maddie and Hunter because it was their Valentine's photo shoot. And I use these alphabets that come in the kit, these red Rosy Cozy Christmas, they're called by P13. But you could put me and you could put two people's names as long as they're not really long names. If this was a wedding layout, you could put Mr. and Mrs. You could put anything you want, hugs and kisses, anything you want with the ampersand. It's like a great little frame to put the letters going around. So I'm going to do you and me for this video instead of names because I'm just trying to make it not be so long watching me apply stickers. So I will put U. Oh, I should have started with the one in the middle, which is the O. And then moved the Y next to it, so the placement is right. So start with the letter in the middle. It'll be easier for you. You and me. And there is no middle of me, so I'm putting the M on one side and the E on the other, because this little dot is the middle point of that die cut. It's so much easier with my nails for me to use these little tweezers. These are awesome. But you and me. And now, if your picture had a person right there, you might want to scooch this off to the side or down over here or somewhere. But on my example layout, my picture had white space right there, so that's why I put it right over my picture. But you would obviously put it not covering up anyone's face. So this is the end of this video. This is how this layout looks all together. And we would love if you make this layout or use this kit to make a different layout, whatever, even if it's something different, we would love to see it in our Facebook group. It's our Not Just for Boys community Facebook page. It's a group, not a business page. So yeah, look for us there and ask to join the group. It's a private group, so you'll have to fill out the little questions. I think it asks what kind of scrapbooking you do, just so we don't get spammers in there. We ask a couple questions so you can be let in that group. But yeah, we share a lot in there. Our design team shares all their layouts in there. We share extra sneak peeks of upcoming kits in there, and we answer questions, and it's fun over there. So we would love to see your layouts, and I will put still close-up pictures at the end of this video. You can also find a picture on your instructions. There's a picture of this, and on the listing on the website, you can see still close-ups, especially of the embellishment clusters. Those will be on the website. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day.